Wake up, gamers, because you're listening to the Big Think Dimension with Dan and Bob Video Games.
Bob, we've got a job.
Good. KZ Excellent.
Catchphrase.
And Mr. Feel.
The word screen is derived from scribe.
Here on GigaBoots.
You know, we got a lot to talk about on this week of Big Think Dimension, but at the opening, I have to do a shout out to Ian from the CU podcast for his role in the new The Batman.
As who?
The Riddler, obviously.
This is fucked up. I don't endorse Dan's violence right now.
I think his performance was spectacular.
Do they listen to our podcast?
I hope not. It's okay. We're buds on Twitter. I'm sure if Ian saw, he would understand.
Ian, I don't endorse what Dan is saying. He doesn't speak for me.
This is not how it's supposed to go.
Ian just goes, "You GigaBoots fucks!" Just like Pat. The other Pat, not Pat the NES punk.
Yeah.
Very confusing situation I've slipped this sentence into.
Yes, the internet of Pats.
Yes, it's all Pats all the way down. Anyway, with that out of the way, hey Bob.
Hey, what's up?
You play video game?
Yeah.
Oh. What like what?
Well, we played Balan Wonderworld. Is that what you want to talk about? Is that what this is?
Bob, I'm gonna thank you for reminding me. I'm gonna hit the notes real fast. This is a Spark Notes for Balan Wonderworld and everything that's wrong with it. This isn't a game Polish could have fixed. This is a game with 400 intentionally engineered wrong decisions. Every decision in this game, as we're playing it, I go, I swear I just see Yuji Naka walking in the room, and every time the sentence opens with, "Hey guys, wouldn't it be funny if..." For example, wouldn't it be funny if, in order to pick up a power-up, you needed a key, but the key was always 5 feet away?
Directly on top of it.
Hey guys, wouldn't it be funny if there wasn't a jump button, but half of the powers in the game are jumps?
What if some of the powers, because you only have one button, will just do their function randomly?
Like Box Fox.
Or light.
Yeah, or
light.
Or the super, yeah, or that like super speed one where they're like, you're gonna run really fast. You'll start flashing when it's about to happen.
We never got that.
Yeah, we didn't get that one. As it turns out, you don't need anywhere near all the powers in that game to beat it.
Yeah, you don't even need nearly all the statues. That game is insanely easy, but every single decision is wrong. So it's not good at all.
If you're sitting here and you're like, I just don't know, I really want to play Balan Wonderworld. Well, let me give you some pro tips. Tip number 1, Balan Bounce are the thing you avoid like the plague. If you see a hat, do not walk towards it. It's not worth it.
Yeah, no, those shouldn't be in the game.
For anyone who hasn't seen our stream, for anyone who hasn't seen either of our streams, the only way to get a statue out of that, statue being the progression currency of Balan Wonderworld, you have to perfect that QTE.
The QTE, which is maybe the worst one ever made in a video game at all.
Yeah, it's kind of stunning. It's stunning. You can't hit it 1 frame early, but you can hit it a second late most of the time.
Yeah, I swear I was hitting it at exactly the same time in some of those animations, because these things reuse animations constantly.
Oh, yeah. So it's compartmentalized into like 6 animations that play in this QTE, and they reuse all of them, always.
It feels like the timing's different on some of them when they return. Like between different versions.
They're like, we made it harder. And I'm like, well, could you have a visual to, clue me into that? Because at some point, I'm convinced they did just ramp up the difficulty by making the window even smaller and more finicky.
Uh-huh.
But it visually looked identical.
Yeah.
What the hell's wrong with these people?
I don't know.
But yeah, Balan Wonderworld, absolutely terrible. Weirdly enough, not the most excruciating experience we've had playing a 3D platformer.
No.
It is not that hard, all things considered. It is certainly a chunk of game and very poorly told as a story. And incredible decisions made left and right. Bold visionary choices, such as you need power up to do anything. go get key 5 feet away.
These decisions made as if there is never seen another video game for most of them. It's like that we solved this 20 years ago. What happened?
Yeah, and it's pretty nonstop. Balan Wonderworld, not a good game.
No.
I would say in the eyes of the gamers, Yuji Naka failed. We did a vote at the end of the stream.
Oh.
Yeah, he's unfortunately...
But he supports the gamers by making things up.
No, he's going to prison. He's going to gamer prison.
Oh, no!
That's what happens when you sue someone, right? You lose and you go to prison.
Yeah,
immediately.
It's really amazing when he was like, yeah, the last 6 months of development, it was really in the last day or week or couple weeks that we added not dying when you only had one ring left in Sonic 1. And then people go, betas much earlier than that show that was already in.
Yeah, no. Here are prototypes that exist.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, come on, man.
He sucks.
God, I can't believe Sega really did have their Inafune over there.
They did.
At least it's not as bad because he didn't ruin the entire company for a decade.
Well, that's because he left at the beginning of 7th gen. He was like, we should do the Sonic 06 thing and this Wii thing, and I will ship neither. Bye.
He just backflips out the window.
What is the Speed Racer thing? He does a backflip, lands on a motorcycle, and drives away.
Yes.
Like, damn, dude. No, bland, terrible. We played more Pokemon though.
Yeah.
3rd gen did this really neat trick that 2nd gen didn't. We started the game and there were new Pokemon, so we caught them.
Yes, that was pretty great.
2nd gen is like, no, what? We were hiding that fire type for after the Elite Four.
Like, why did you do that? That Slugma?
God, what was it?
3rd gen is kind of like a prototype of 5th gen where most things you find will be new.
Which is weird because those are the 2 worst selling gens on first release. But 2, people by and large are more positive about 3rd gen than they are 5th for some reason.
Wow, I've never gotten that impression at all. People fucking love to beat on 3rd gen.
I see a lot more defense for 3rd gen than 5th, weirdly enough. For some reason, cutting off all old Pokemon until you beat the game flips a switch in a lot of people's brains where they're like, I hate this now, actually. Meanwhile, I'm like, I would love 150 new Pokemon, thank you. I'm here for new Pokemon. If I can't bring them over, that's a major problem. But if I have to beat the game to bring them over, that's fine. That's fine. 3rd gen was going great. Pokemon Days, I've described it as the mental equivalent. Me hosting it is the mental equivalent of driving down the road while it's raining with no windshield, trying to have a conversation on the phone while driving. So hours into this, as I'm breaking down as a human being, people go, you should get a Gardevoir and a Gallade. And I'm like, that would be really funny. We should do that. And then we go catch one, and I'm like, okay, here's our Gallade, here's our Gardevoir. And they go, Dan, that's a modest Ralts. And I'm like, please tell me the Gallade is not good enough. And they're like, yeah, that's going to be a bad Gallade. We need you to catch another Ralts.
This is smart.
4 hours later.
Yeah, it was over an hour with these. We ended up with 4 Ralts or something.
It was me at my most destroyed as a human. I hope people enjoy it because it was still a great stream around that.
That's what you get for caring about nature.
I think the mistake happened one step earlier when I listened to chat about our team comp.
Right? Things just go pretty smoothly, and it's like, well, you should really go back and do that.
It was pretty funny. Someone tried to catch me on my shit, Bob.
Yeah.
If you recall, at one point during episode 1 of 3rd gen earlier this week, I said, by now I had a flying type.
Uh-huh.
They tried to call me on that. They went and looked at old episodes of Pokemon Days, and they're like, "Nuh-uh, you had this." And then a few minutes later, they go to an earlier episode, and they're like, "Never mind, he had a Pelipper for several episodes straight." And I'm like, "You're damn right, I did." Flying types are fucking important. This is the only game I've run into a grass type and been like, "Oh no, we're fucked." Only game. Admittedly, that's because, chat voted for Mudkip.
Yeah,
so
they fools. That ruined everything. It was like, we no longer can have a team with Flygon, Gardevoir or anything else, it's like you ruined it.
Well, we could have Gardevoir.
Yeah, we could have Gardevoir.
But Flygon is when it got weird. There are some other weird things. I've never had to make this type comp before, I don't think. And on my time through on Emerald, everything was cake. Because, once again, not distracted.
Yeah, that really helps when you're not doing 100 other things and pass the controller off to other people who don't know exactly what's going on.
The last 40 minutes of our episode of Pokemon Days from this week is me with the acro bike, just popping up and down, hopping on the bike around this person in the mall. And I'm like, finish the drawings. I need you to fucking finish the drawings.
Finish the fucking.
That's a great front-facing nose pass. Thank you. And then I turned to dust.
Goodbye.
But it was a really great stream. I really enjoyed it. I'm enjoying 3rd gen so far. I look forward to the next time. Exact opposite feeling of Balan Wonderworld. I was like, yeah, chat, we'll platinum this since you asked on Twitter. You need to give me $5,800. And then we'll platinum this. You won't.
They did.
So stop asking. Because, man, that's terrible. That's one of the worst pieces of content you could make. Who in their right mind would platinum Balan Wonderworld? Surely someone much braver than myself.
My friend KM.
Yeah, I already know. I'm saying all this knowing that.
I'm pretty sure their goal was like really not good. I think playing through it was like $100.
Yeah, it was something like they had a really small goal for Balan, and then the platinum was like piddly. Even in comparison, it's like, wait.
I'm like, you're my friend. I have a lot of love for you. For $100, in which you still didn't own the game, you decided to play hot new release in one sitting.
Yeah. For people who are unaware, the normal playthrough of Balan's maybe 10 hours. The platinum is 30.
Yeah. And that's how it works with most games. Like, the platinum is not something you get in a reasonable amount of time after beating the game. Like,
unless you're some sort of Chad who, I don't know, sits down and beats Ratchet and Clank a crack in time 3 times in a row in order to get a platinum.
You were feeling quirky at the time.
That was a great fucking game. That was a nice respite for the morass that is the tail end of the Ratchet franchise during that month.
Yeah.
Because we know this is the last good one. We're like, man, they fixed every problem. This is so great. It doesn't look blurry as hell like, Tools of Destruction did. What a great game. This might be my favorite Ratchet game. Sure, we'll platinum it. And then we went into the next one. What is it? Into the Nexus? And we're like, oh, we know it was going to get worse, but holy shit.
Yeah.
No one was prepared for that. Oh. Well, yeah. Anyway, did you play anything else, Bob?
I did play a few other things. They released a new story mode for Guilty Gear Strive.
I don't know why I thought this, but I was like, Genshin. We're just going straight.
You know what? I also was like, it's probably, okay.
No, something's happened in China, so the update doesn't come out for Genshin. I'm not sure exactly what's happening.
Gotcha.
I think they just aren't done.
Okay.
All right. Anyway,
yeah.
Guilty Gear Strive, another story is what the new episode's called. It's probably like 20, 30 minutes, somewhere in that range. Mm-hmm. And it happens at the same time is the game's main story, but it follows other characters that just weren't in the main story for whatever reason.
Oh.
So this is mostly about Baiken Mei and a new character, the sister of Bedman.
Is a bed woman?
No.
Oh.
It's kind of neat. It's like it's supposed to be this heartwarming thing with Baiken kind of trying to act as her bodyguard. It's all right. They introduce Sin Kisuke, so you get to see him actually rendered in the engine for this game.
Why would I want that? Guilty Gear 2 is the optimal experience.
No.
I was going to say, did this thing just show you Season Pass 2 characters?
That was the only new character. Well, those two. Bedman, or Bed Girl.
Bed Girl!
Because she's small. She's a small girl, like little sister.
Okay, one moment. I'm going to Google Bed Girl.
I don't recommend it.
I think her name's Delilah. Something like that.
Go on.
I mean, it's a musical reference, so of course it'd be a guilty gear
Daisuke
name.
Ishiwatari's like, I love that song.
Good bass.
Yeah, it's interesting to see Sin here. Hopefully they don't make him playable, because he's just his weapon's the worst in this franchise.
Oh, what? His flag staff
it's
or
a
whatever?
staff.
It's a flag.
It's cool. He pokes, and I really like I liked his mechanic in Xrd where he's like a shonen protagonist and has to eat to keep his damage being respectable.
Okay.
That's a mechanic though, and they have to strip that out. I'm sorry, Phil.
For anyone who is wondering what the hell that Mickey Mouse or Feel absolutely losing it sound laugh coming out of me was about, there you go.
Mm-hmm.
Yes, that's her.
That's perfect.
That's bad girl. But if you have the season pass, you can go play this. Otherwise, you have to buy the season pass to play it.
Oh no. What about the people who bought individual characters?
I don't know. Maybe you can buy a separate? I have no idea.
You have to have gotten them all.
Maybe. I hope that they have more of this plan, because this is, like I said, like a side story to the main story, so it doesn't feel like much gets accomplished, and you have stuff like a tiny bit of Faust is there, but you don't get to see much of what he does other than that, and it feels like not a big event for him.
Too bad. Did anyone listen to a podcast during this small story thing?
No.
Oh.
No podcasts. So
I like representation in media, you know? I'm really sad that no one listened to any podcasts. By the way, I'm going to let you know, typing in Bedman sister, okay?
Yeah.
Did not help.
Great.
I guess I'll include these.
As far as other stuff I played, I booted up Fortnite because I had Sakura from Streets.
Yo, Sakura from Streets.
And then you gave them $65.
Then I saw that they wanted real money, and I turned it back off and deleted it.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Because I
It's
used
like
to
do
like
that or
shit
play
where,
their insane battle pass.
where they literally just like, we want you in the game. Here's this thing for free. Here's our crossover thing. But no, they just want you to pay the money up front. I'm like, I don't even. I've only played like 2 rounds of you ever. I have no idea if I would ever even play this. No, I'm not giving you $20.
They're like, this is going to leave in 3 weeks. Buy it.
This is a little bit of an aside, but is anybody else kind of fucking furious that everybody went to $20 for skins, and the collective response from the media is, well, that's the trend now, so you can't complain about them being $20.
Yeah, that is really
I
frustrating.
fucking hate you, Barney Rubble.
I work at Polygon.
Sim's got a sim friend.
Yeah, it is weird that there's like a lot of conversation about games moving from $60 to $70, but not for skins moving from like $3 to $20.
I feel like every game that comes out and does it, it's like, that's the trend now, so I can't complain.
Man, now that's just making me wonder if that thing I saw from Halo Infinite Season 2 cost $20 when the leg doesn't even connect right. Did you see
Probably.
that?
No, I didn't see that.
I'll repost it so you can see it. If people listening to this haven't seen it, basically imagine right as the thigh begins, the leg is cut in half, basically.
I usually don't like putting in a bunch of stuff because the Podlords mark this.
Yeah, sure, I'll do it.
It's insane.
Yeah, this is apparently one of the first things out for Season 2.
Like that first shot that you posted is just Frieza when he finds Trunks.
Yeah, no, it really is that. It's weird. They are clearly trying to rush some shit out over there. I hope that shit isn't 20.
God, yeah, hopefully not. Maybe that's for one of the free things or something.
Yeah, those are the things that are in the battle pass instead of the things that should be in the battle pass that are in the cash shop.
Jesus. I also played some more of Arceus.
Oh, cool.
Okay.
I got to the point in the post game where it's like, go catch all the Pokemon. I'm like, oh, I guess the game's over now.
You have to have caught them
I
all.
I straight up stopped after the event you do right before that, where it's like I finished that, and they're like, get everything. I'm like, I don't really want to, frankly.
Yeah, I don't
Have a
think.
great day, sir.
I'm like, I don't know why you locked story at all behind catching them all. Like, I don't feel like that's normal for a Pokemon.
Yeah, no, that's not normal.
Yeah, it's very strange.
I don't know. You described this, and I'm like, oh, that's kind of cool. I kind of want to do that.
Yeah, I just looked up what I got, and I went, that's cool. All right. I'm like, I got enough closure through the main credits and the last thing you do before they tell you to do that, to where I'm like, I'm whelmed. I'm good.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like when was the last time I did something like that, and I was like, oh, it was during Game of the Year. What was it for? And then I thought about it, and I was like, God, it's that Nier Automata thing, that Steven Universe.
Yeah, I know.
Unsighted.
Unsighted, thank you. I was like,
go.
unresolved? No.
What?
Nearsighted.
Now I'm like, what? What are we talking? Oh, okay.
Yeah, we're talking about
that
Unsighted.
game.
Yeah. There's a true ending thing, and you have to jump through a lot of hoops to get it, and it doesn't sound great or fun in a few different ways. There's some cool stuff there, but I just looked it up instead of going through it because I didn't even have time, and it wasn't going to change my score, right?
Right.
Multiple endings is like one of the curses of 7th gen we have not shaken off.
I feel like 7th gen cut that out the most of most gens because endings got expensive.
No, I feel like we got a lot of, we have a morality system. Play the game twice to see 3 slightly changed cutscenes.
I mean, that is true. That exact execution of it is very 7th gen core of now the light's blue.
Yeah, that was very much a Western game with morality system thing to do.
And it was great.
Yes, definitely. Definitely
I'm glad
great.
we were able to close the conversation with some truth bombs.
But yeah, they have not only like a big story thing you do after the main credits, there's also a side quest sort of thing where it's still that story, but it's not the big plot line that was still going through the whole game. It's just
And the entire time you're doing it, the NPCs are like, shouldn't you be doing that other thing? And you're like, no, shut up.
So I did this other one, which is all about going to, they're called massive mass outbreaks, where it like rains real hard and then thousands of Pokemon show up in patches. And there's a little bit of neat plot around there, and it feels kind of like it wraps up on that side of things too. And that's more with the town folk and stuff. And I'm like, okay, that's neat. I get some closure here, even if I don't do whatever this catch all the Pokemon thing is.
Is the thing you did do the post-launch update?
No, I don't think
did,
so.
That they covered in that Pokemon Direct.
I don't think so.
Okay.
Yeah,
'Cause
I know there were more outbreaks. I know outbreaks were in the game, but I don't think I ever ended up doing one once.
Yeah.
Yeah, they don't feel like they'd really start popping up a lot until after you beat the game.
Yeah.
And then you need to do that full side quest I talked about to get the massive mass outbreaks, which are different from regular mass outbreaks.
Completely different.
Completely different.
Yeah, now they're cooler.
I also put more time into Sakura.
Okay.
The thing I like about this game is that it's the closest I can get to a game that is Ninja Scroll.
Okay.
I need to fight complete freak weirdo ninjas is a fairly normal ninja.
Yeah. Yeah. More of that, please.
Yeah, I'm like that.
You're just some dude.
You have the arm with some like tricks in it, like it can turn into an axe and stuff, but you're pretty down to earth, whereas your enemies are usually a horrible monster that like jumps in air and spins 300 times.
Or a dumb monkey.
Yes, or a big monkey. And that's really neat. I wish there were more games like that that really channeled that early 90s OVA energy.
God, I didn't even really think about it from that angle. And yeah, that really does nail that.
Yeah, especially thinking about like Sekiro's master, the owl, who's just this giant dude with a katana.
Dude is built like 4 fridges.
I also noticed that the swimming, the water sound effects are the exact same sound effects they used in the Tenchu games on PS1. I'm like, I know this is just a live sound library thing, but oh man, it's hilarious to hear these in this game.
It's just a $10 billion game with swimming sounds.
Swimming sounds from PS1.
And Star Trek computer sounds play.
Yeah, whenever they get to do a sci-fi game from FromSoft that is one of these, I'm sure I'll hear that.
That would be so... I would feel so bad for those people who made the knockoff Dark Souls that's sci-fi.
Oh, no, I wouldn't. The Surge failed at so many levels at being a sci-fi Dark Souls. I want them to actually do it competently at all.
If they do a sci-fi Dark Souls, directly at, FromSoft, no one will even know how to bring up the memory of the Surge. You ever play that sci-fi Dark Souls? Yeah, it's made by FromSoft. No, the other one, that's not real.
And they would be right.
Like, honestly, someone could make another sci-fi Souls, because it wasn't cool sci-fi with the Surge. It was like gruff white man in battle suit.
Yeah, it was Elysium sci-fi.
Yeah. I'm like, I need cool science fiction.
No.
Like, the only thing where I'm like, okay, I like this aspect of the Surge is when you're doing combat and you get to choose the limb, like it's Fallout, and you're just chopping off a dude's leg. And I'm like, I like this. Also, the Surge somehow has 2 boss fights because it has, like, no money.
Cool. I'm sure the Surge 2 has 3 boss fights.
I heard it had, like, 2 more than the first one, and I almost blacked out. And audio logs.
Speaking of bad knockoff Dark Souls.
Ooh!
I played a demo this week.
Oh, okay.
I think Field did as well.
Oh, fuck me.
It's called Thymesia. I think I'm spelling that right. It's Thymesia.
So, Thymesia.
Oh, I guess that'd be it. Thymesia.
Like the spice time.
Right. It blatantly wants to be Bloodborne specifically.
Yeah, it's just Bloodborne. Like
I'm saying that.
Like it's pathetic. It's so pathetic that I almost turned the demo off before I even got to gameplay.
Oh my god.
Because when you hit start and it's like person in a plague doctor outfit, we got the blood plague, so we have to make the sacred flame. I'm like, fuck you, I'm leaving.
Oh my god.
I wasn't at all on your side until we have to make the sacred flame.
This is parody levels of Mad Lib's Souls.
I mean, this is basically GameIndustry.png. Like when people dunk on the industry for being too uninventive.
Yes, wow.
Yeah, it's really, really dire. Every text log you find on the ground is like a parody of what you would find in a Dark Souls game, like written with 0 character, like just we're getting the plague. Oh no, we're all infected. We're gonna die.
Even my brother Mario didn't shit his pants and die like this.
Is it better than the Mirror Fate?
The state of these pipes would shock my brother Mario.
Shit self dies.
I fucking love the clip of you forcing Agger to see that. He tries to leave.
So you've got 2 kinds of parries. They both feel really bad. Like
I expect.
Everything in this game feels worse than you would even expect from a Souls game, which is impressive.
I'm out. I'm nowhere near it.
Yeah, I was like, well, there's a lot of things.
Bad.
There are a lot of things you can improve in a Souls game. Oh, they decided none of that.
Oh God.
They never do like that. Nobody is more convinced of like the intentionalness of every single thing in Dark Souls than the people who make these knockoff games.
Oh yeah, that's why they always turn out to be comically bad. Just like on a new
level. They even have a worse parry than Bloodborne. You're trying to be Bloodborne and you don't understand how the parry in Bloodborne worked?
Yeah.
Well, like in Bloodborne, it's like, okay, parrying is a core mechanic of this game. So if this is how I assume it has to fucking work. That if your bullet hits them when they're in a certain stage of their animation, they fall down. In this thing, it's the Dark Souls parry where you have to like time your hand swinging out to block them. I'm like, that's not what you made Bloodborne and then fucked up a core part of Bloodborne.
Don't worry, Phil. The second kind of parry you get later in that demo is throwing a knife like in Bloodborne instead of shooting. It also doesn't work right. Because it only worked on special attacks that are for that kind of parry. And it usually, like, they have the smallest window imaginable for when it can hit them.
This sounds like a circle of hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I wanted to ask, since this is trying to ape Bloodborne the most, did they also take the idea that both your health and your parry mechanic are finite resources I have to grind?
No.
Oh, okay.
Well, this is only a demo.
God damn it!
They gave every enemy regenning health. So you have to hit them with your super claw attack if you want to do real damage that stays.
I feel like you're making up a game to make me angry.
This is like reverse armchair devs.
Yeah, it does feel like an armchair dev pitch gone awry.
Bob and Field did the Predator handshake in between podcasts, decided to punk your ass.
If you really start doing that shit, I'm not going to be able to cope.
I know, right?
You get to the end of the demo, you fight a boss that's like, oh, this guy's so hard, he's just going to beat you. This guy literally looks like the dude from Dark Souls 1 that's in the armor with the blue scarf that everyone knows from that game.
Oh, yeah.
Artorias?
Yeah, it's just Artorias. It's just him.
Yeah, because that's the dude you would remember. He's like, that's the one that's raw.
They're so cool.
It's like, you really just did this. This is the end of your demo. It's just me getting owned by Artorias.
And I'm like, you don't understand these games. When you start the game and you want the character to die, it has to be some monster that sucks really bad. Because that's what they do.
Oh my god, I'm looking at this and it's just him. It's not, and his name is even Varg. Like, fuck you.
Can you post the picture?
Try.
I just want to see it real quick because I have a mental image of exactly how unacceptable it can look. So I would really like to know if reality.
Yeah, I took some pictures while I was playing it on Steam, but then Steam was like, I put them on the cloud, and I was like, I can't find them, man. yeah, that's him.
You gotta be fucking kidding me.
Oh my god.
Okay, very cool. Very cool.
Yeah, it's just Artorias or fucking the Dragon Slayer.
Cool. Great. So Phil, Bob, are you guys gonna check this game out when it comes out August 9th?
No.
No.
Okay.
I don't think that he's going to do some sort of magic trick and make it a good game by then.
You don't know, man.
Well, in the last week of development, he'll decide that if you have one ring left, you can survive damage, and that'll turn the whole game around.
I guess I should mention, my computer could only run this game around 40 frames per second, but that felt appropriate.
Yeah, that feels appropriate.
My computer couldn't run it well either.
Now I'm just curious if mine could.
Gotta download that demo.
No.
But please tell me about the shells. What do they do?
Anyway, I'm out of games I played.
Okay, cool. I had an indie NES game that I've been trying to play for weeks that I still didn't have time this week. But it's installed on the Mister, so I'll get to check it out for next week. That's it.
Nice.
I didn't do any gaming outside of streams, I don't think, in the last week, though I was really tempted to go and grind Pokemon in between episodes. Because let me tell you, the Routes debacle really set us back.
It did.
First time through on Pokemon Days, beat it in 20 and a half hours. This time on Pokemon Days, Bob, did we play for 11 hours? We have 2 gym badges.
Yeah, that sounds right.
So about driving down the road during a rainstorm with no windshield on a phone call.
That's the content people want.
That's good. I'm glad. I enjoy doing the show, even if it's exhausting.
Right.
We're gonna go to Casey. Casey, you playing video game?
Yes. I did not have time to stream through Kirby, unfortunately, but I did. On my off time, I had some time to play Rogue Legacy 2, which left early access, I guess, last week because reviews went out. So I picked that up. This is on PC and Xbox, not PlayStation.
Yeah, I didn't even know it came out on Xbox. I had no idea they had plans to do that.
Yeah, the devs just went, we're working on it in regards to why it's not on PlayStation at all.
If I were to make a wild guess, I would assume they went about development in a way that made it easier to export to Xbox.
Probably.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah, because this isn't like those other Xbox deals where indie game appears on Game Pass. This was something that I paid $20 for on Xbox.
Yeah, I don't think the Rogue Legacy devs are going to let themselves get fucked on this one.
Yeah,
Yeah,
they have kind
Yeah,
of
most likely.
a known IP at this point. They don't have to do that.
Yeah, they have one of the most successful roguelikes that ever came out. It's definitely in that echelon, so I think they realize.
yeah. When I think of roguelikes, like this one's in there, despite me barely at all. I don't even think I even booted the first one. I think I had it through like a PS Plus thing. Or something like that.
I platinumed it. I bought Rogue Legacy 2 on early access and then went, I'm not going to play it while it's in beta.
Yeah, I'm like, I can't ruin these experiences for me. I want something like polished and dense. It felt really good to wait on Hades the entire time and just like get that, and then look at what it looked like before. And I was like, wow, half of the art wasn't even ready when this shit came out. Everyone had like a question mark on their portrait, or just had like a basic silhouette because the art team wasn't done yet.
So, how's Rogue Legacy 2 treating you?
I really like it in terms of like the roguelites. It has a lot of the roguelite elements where the entire premise is you're going into this area, you're doing a run, battling through enemies in a Metroidvania style thing. But when you die, you choose your heir, which could be one of a few different classes, and then that's the person that's gonna continue your legacy. And then you can take all the money that you got from going through a run and buy upgrades, unlock new classes, get various other buffs. It feels like every single run, even if I do terribly in it, I'm probably going to be able to buy something that's going to make my runs better. Whether it's higher damage, more health, a new class. Like I recently unlocked the Astrologer, which is this class where your basic attack is creating a black hole that just sucks enemies in and does like prolonged damage, and a cooldown move where you just get filled in a rainbow ball energy and you can fly anywhere at really fast speeds, and you're just invincible. Now, I thought that one was pretty cool. I've been mostly using the Boxer class because it does big combos and like some directional like uppercut stuff.
Do you have any sort of weapon as the Boxer at all, or is it just fisticuffs?
You just have boxing gloves.
Cool.
You got like big boxing gloves for that. And I also like the Samurai because it's a nice good spacing weapon with your cooldown being the flash step across the screen to do a slash type of thing. So that stuff's been fun. Going through it's, basic Metroidvania style stuff. You got like a cool dash that upgrades later to like an air dash. And you have this spin kick where you can do it on objects and projectiles, and if you land it lets you bounce up, and later they make it so that doing that off of certain objects replenishes your dash. So there's a lot of really cool movement tech and some platforming challenges in the game where they really zoom out the camera in certain areas as you're going through it. I've really enjoyed it. There's something in this that was in the first games, from what I was told, fairy challenges, where they make you do a physical challenge of some type. You activate it, and I don't like these at all.
Okay.
I think my win rate on them is 3%. Because they're like, all right, so the challenge is you're going to go through this labyrinth of spikes. Don't dash. Don't get hit.
Yeah.
And then I make one slight mistake and they're like, it's done. I'm like, could you like let me retry it?
No.
I'm just like in the middle of this challenge room, and I'm like, I'm going to take 18 more hits to get out with nothing.
Yeah.
And I can't even tell if the rewards are even worth my time.
I think that in the first game, if I remember right, correct me if I'm wrong, Dan. Later on, didn't you find abilities that made those challenge rooms like more doable? But then even those would be, you'd randomly have them or not when you started.
Yes, Bob. As someone who also edited the Rogue Legacy review, you are correct.
Okay.
By the way, that review's pretty good. Probably not canon anymore. Find out in a couple of years. But in the first one, it's just like, hey, you got this ability to turn to stone, so you can just jump in this hole of fucking spikes and bounce the whole way down. Congrats, you did
that
it.
3% win rate accounts for 2 times I won. One of them was because I had the power-up that made all stationary spikes do no damage. So I just walked across them and picked it up.
Yeah.
Okay.
And I think the other
yeah.
one was yeah. And then I think the other one was just the most basic one of win this combat room. We have no other thing. But then you'll get other ones where it's like, there are 50 spike balls that orbit and bounce along the walls. This room is one of the most massive rooms you'll find early in the game. Break the target Super Smash Bros. Style, never get hit. And then I'll get hit at the end, and I'll go, I want to leave. Or my favorite thing of, you've completed the challenge. The challenge is still active until you get to the chest and open it.
Yeah, this reminds me, you just get to a point in Rogue Legacy 1 where you look at a thing and you know whether or not you have the abilities that would help you cheese it, and you just keep walking, basically.
Yeah, I've just decided to like tap out on that. I do appreciate that it does have some stuff that makes runs easier. Like I ran into Maria the pizza girl who said, "Give me a bunch of money and I'll make this teleport to this biome just permanent, so you can immediately teleport here at the start of every run." So I've been unlocking places like that. It makes it a lot easier when I want to just kind of do the boss of the area. I've taken down a couple of them so far, which has unlocked some of the newer some of the newer abilities that'll make it so you can traverse certain areas a bit more. But yeah, overall I'm enjoying it. It has a decent challenge to it. Visually, it looks pretty nice. They do a good job of 3D stuff that is clearly trying to be 2D, where you can kind of tell that it's a 3D thing, but it's got enough like stylistic stuff going on in it.
Hey, looks closer to the fucking Chip and Dale movie.
Yeah. Fucking Chip and Dale.
Fucking Chip and Dale movie. God
I'm
damn.
so sad about that. That movie's gonna be so bad.
It's gonna be fucking terrible. We'll see you later.
Oh, yeah, we'll deal with you later.
God, of course. Any movie that constantly is like, I'm not 2D anymore like you, to a 3D character, I'm like, that's level of brain rot I just need to see play out.
Got we boomers on original Chip and Dale Rescue Rangers.
Yes.
Dude, that's how we set it up, and this thing will get 40,000 views.
Actually, that does sound fucking great. Will people permit us to call it Wee Boomers? Who knows?
Who knows?
Yeah. It's our fucking rules. But yeah, this game's good. I recommend it for people that want like some roguelike type thing to like chip away at. It feels pretty tight, responsive, and everything seems pretty solid with this in general. I do like the various traits that a character has. When you get a new character, you're starting a new run where they're like, you're gonna get more gold, but here's a problem your character will have. Like, they're a diva, so the entire screen's black except for a spotlight that is shining on you only. And it's like, you're the most important person in the room, nothing else should matter, so you can't see it. Or cartographer, where it's like, you have a map of the entire area. We will no longer pinpoint where you are on the map. But you can see where every room is, just not where you are. Or one that I think was in the first one. I think it was mentioned sometime earlier in the week, where it's just like, you have vertigo, so everything's upside down.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stuff like that. Or old-timey filters are being applied. A bunch of fucked up ones.
I was watching Pat Stares At. Once again, not Pat from CU Podcast. Sorry, Pat. Anyway, I was watching Pat stream Zone of the Enders 2, and I'm like, hell yeah, someone other than me talking about this video game. Let's go. Someone came to his chat, and they're like, they updated the game and removed that. The vertigo. I'm like, wait, what? No fucking way. He couldn't find it in the patch notes. I'm still concerned they're full of it, but that would be so funny. Just at the last minute to be like, that's too much like the first game. Get rid of it.
I got the vertigo thing,
or just
then.
like that's a really shitty accessibility problem. So
I mean, most of their shit is
Right. There's
Where
so
it's
many
just
in
like-
there that's like, no, this is the run you die.
like you're colorblind now. You can only see 2 pixels away from yourself now. You can't see anything that's near you now. There's a spotlight that's on you, and everything else is darkness. Like the whole game is just diseases. Like genetic disabilities.
Yeah, this one had one where it was like, you got bitten by a clown, so you're a clown now. When you try to do your kick that bounces off objects, you can do it on any surface now. you lost 35% permanent health at the start of the run. So combined with the fact that some classes just have less health, so it's like, oh, you picked this one. I guess you have 90 health. You will die in 2.5 hits. But yeah, I don't have too much else to say about it. It's like it's a really solid roguelike that is clearly like really, really visually good. Music's nice. Don't have too much to complain about it, except the challenges where they're just evil.
Yeah, I'm gonna need to play that soon too, because huge fan. I was waiting on that, I was waiting on 30XX plus the first 40 or 60 hours of me playing it in early access. I'm like, maybe we wait. Maybe just wait it all.
Yeah, this was one of those cases where I'm like, I know you enjoy it because I watched the review of the first one when you did that.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, this will probably come up in Game of the Year, so I'll just do that now so I'm not trying to slip in 20 hours of a roguelike gameplay in the final 2 weeks of the year.
No, that's definitely the ideal method to consume a roguelike.
Yes. That's it for me.
Okay. We're going to move on to Feel.
So I played more Xenogears. I don't really have a whole lot to say about that yet. I bought this game called Dusk Diver. Because it's on PlayStation sale. It is a extremely Vita core game. I have no idea if it was ever actually on Vita or if it was just like apparently it was never on Vita. So it was a Vita game that obviously it was intended to be a Vita game and got put onto Switch. Which has led to the funny thing of like this. I think this is in 4K, but all the assets are like 720p. All of, like the UI assets.
So it's the Switch.
Let's go.
At first I was kind of into this because it's like it's like a low rent action game with like JRPG type story. Then it's just fighting the exact same enemies over and over and over again forever, and there's not even that many. There's like 4. So imagine a low rent Muso with 4 enemies, and the map is always the same map, and there's sort of bad platforming sometimes.
Oh no.
Jesus.
It's so bad that I dropped it, even though it's apparently only like 5 hours long.
Oh man.
So I'm like, this seems really bad. I liked the designs though, but they couldn't save it at all.
Oh, a sequel came out this year. Weird.
Yeah.
Yeah. I should look at footage of it sometime and see if it's better.
It also runs on a GeForce 750. So it is also a Vita game.
Well, thank goodness they stayed true to their roots.
Yeah.
I'm looking at footage of it right now. It seems to be much higher rent.
Yeah, there seem to be 3D models of characters trying to animate.
It seems to have maps and UI elements. Other than that, I played a game. I tried a game on Game Pass called PikuNiku.
Yeah.
It's like a puzzle game where you're like a ball with legs, and you can jump and kick, and now go through the game. It's like a puzzle type play. It's like
it looks like Loco Roco if it was fused with a Wadum or Nobi Nobi Boy.
Yeah, something like that. In fact, I had to make sure it wasn't involved with like the Katamari guy.
Right.
It's not very interesting. I fell out very fast because it. You know that comic. You know that one web comic. I have no idea what its name is, but I'm sure people will know from my description. Where every single comic ends with the little. Oh no! Where every single strip ends with oh no.
That comic intentionally has the worst name for a webcomic ever.
That's how the writing in this game feels. It feels like that comic.
Okay.
Where a character will just say something like, "We sold out the environment for money. Oh no." Or like a little bit more advanced than that, but
for anyone who's curious, the name of that webcomic is webcomic name.
Boo.
Wow. When you're so clever, you make yourself less money.
I don't know. They seem to be doing fine. People buy paraphernalia with the blob on it saying, oh no, and then they're rich.
But it has that vibe on it, and I wouldn't even be that opposed to it, but this game seems to think it's really funny and clever. So any beat on anything you do has like dialogue. So it's not just solve this puzzle.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would be fine if it was like puzzle segment talking to NPCs. Maybe you do little quests for them, puzzles. But in like the hour and a half I played, it was like every single time I do anything, advance any of these goals at all, I get like dialogue, and I'm like, this isn't funny. I'm sorry. You obviously tried really hard, and it's not offending me, but I feel almost like you're condescending to me. Or maybe isn't condescending the right word, but it feels like you're running up to me holding this thing you made and like shoving it in my face. Like, isn't this really funny? Isn't this really funny and charming? I'm like, no. Maybe if you let me look at it from across the room, sometimes when I turned my head over there, and not you running up on me like fucking, like running at the cameraman. So yeah, it's a Game Pass game, so feel free to try it yourself.
Cool. I actually meant to, and our Game Pass is finally about to run out after 10,000 years.
Oh no. We won't be able to play.
Oh, you're also a fan of webcomic?
Yeah, of course. Who isn't?
What were you actually going to say?
We will miss out on all these amazing games coming to Game Pass.
I meant to try PikuNiku. It being on game. It seems like a game that's perfect for Game Pass. A thing I'm, for some reason, overly comfortable saying about someone else's piece of art.
Right. It's like, literally all you're saying is, it's a game I don't want to pay for because it looks bad.
I don't know. I really don't know why games media is obsessed with the term great for Game Pass, also known as thing I find to be worthless.
Imagine
Thing I don't want to buy.
Imagine you ate someone else's cooking and they go, this food is perfect for getting for free.
Dan, I think your meal was perfect for Boston Market.
Your 31 and a half hour stream was perfect for me not giving you a cent for watching it. And I'm like, that's a really bizarre thing to say.
You're like, but I have great ideas for stream goals.
Oh, man.
Those are the only two things that I really played this week, other than that demo that we briefly talked about.
Okay, this comic's actually good, so I'm posting it.
Okay, I'll put
It looks like somebody should have kept their fucking mouth shut.
Somebody put a fucking denim jacket on that dude on the pedestal and just make him say "Hit to Create sucks." Anyways,
I'm reading that. Oh no, like Knuckles.
Oh no, that is an iconic. Oh no, but that was it. Feel.
Yeah, that's it. That's all I played. I think it's time for something.
What?
Justice.
Pod Lords.
Oh, awesome.
Or Justice. Or both.
Okay. I can really go either way on this, this week. Yes, that's right. We're settling on the Pod Lords instead of Justice.
Okay.
Pod Lords such as E. Lee Broyles, Corey Brown. I don't think this was in last week. Woo! Whoa! Elabits be upon ye!
Yo!
Red Blaze 27, who people noticed on another YouTuber's channel, was like, hey, please review this. And it was a Castlevania 3 music thing. I was like, oh shit, Red Blaze 27! Fuck the Bruins. Guys, what the fuck are the Bruins?
Aren't they a baseball team?
Yeah.
Suzushiro. Emperor Zero. Shibuya Gato. Yuji Naka's lawyer 2 minutes into the trial.
God.
I'm glad they put the badge on it.
Rado and the Forest Messenger. I'd play that 3D platformer. 101 Shades of Wonderful Remastered. WTF Spider-Man. Front-facing Nose Pass and front-facing Mr. Potato Head.
Thank you.
So, you're saying we're some sort of spy times family?
No, definitely not.
DFW 3K. Tactical espionage action. This image is so dark. Could you have brought it up? I had to look really closely to figure out what was in this.
Yeah, can you up the gamma on this one?
Trumpet sounds. Shiny View's clearly excited for 3rd gen. Kristen. Well, Mr. Yuji Naka, if it isn't the consequences of your own actions.
The way you were reading it, I was like, is Columbo coming to solve the mystery? Mr. Naka, just one more thing. I have here a list of every single thing you've ever done.
This page is empty. Raido Kuzunoha and Nocturne Figma pre-order waiting room. Me IRL. Kyle Bjork. Fuck the pod. Oh Lord. Maddie Mo. BN12. Iron Aggro. Blig the Blue. Schligdespoo. FF14 fact. The god of commerce is also the god of death and is worshipped by the potato people.
Yep. Those rats. Awful little bastards.
They're delightful.
Monster Hunter, Ryzen and Raiden. Scoopy Banoopy.
Oh.
Thank you for Bugs Next. By God, it's Yuji Naka. He's cashing in to be the top story of the week.
God, there's only a couple ways he could do that again.
God, yeah. Him and Keiji Inafune started a new company.
They both got the Batara earrings.
Dan, I hate to tell you this, but that's one of those things that you say and it's going to be you having the gift of prophecy.
Yeah. Let's see. Our names before were Yuji Naka and Keiji Inafune. I guess with this fusion we'll be called Dipshit. You wish to fix housing crisis in your favorite MMO? Yeah, no worries, my friend. I have just the solution.
Very sharp.
KZ, watch out. Michael Jordan gave your son diabetes.
Oh no, it's type 2, the one they were never able to cure.
Only Charles Barkley had a degree in diabetes instead of basketball.
Yes, that sure was a piece of dialogue.
My Italian genes going to DEF CON 2, witnessing a Fazoli's Cup at work when I've never seen that place in my area before.
And then they look down, they are wearing the uniform, they work at a Fazoli's now.
It's like how Tim Sweeney just has a Popeyes cup for no reason.
AG's bird facts. Toucans are omnivorous. From fruits and fungi to insects and eggs, their beak is even serrated like a knife. That's dangerous.
I like toucans.
They're so powerful.
I like toucanon.
You like toucans? Big Peter Molyneux fan?
You know, like Well, like the Pokemon Sun and Moon bird.
Yeah.
That always looks like eternally upset.
Yeah. Me seeing Activision crashing and burning. See, normally Podlords like stick a GIF as their avatar, right?
Yeah.
And then I'm like, oh god, I gotta find the right frame. No, this person just uploaded this one frame.
They knew the one.
God, they rule.
That's correct.
Drive type cam. Brandon Hanabarger. Mitzi. Indigo Sykes. Ladies, did you know that Mifepristone has a shelf life of 5 years? Oh no, this Podlord is stuck in the inescapable conical pit.
No! Oh no!
God, that thing's awesome.
Love trap it. Look at that little guy.
Shit like that is why people were like, but she drew this in more than 10 minutes, right? Like, no, she just can art. It's fucked up.
This little dude.
He was the viewer icon for a while, just eating anyone who came by.
Nice.
A raccoon that really wants to know how much money Embracer Group has.
Money isn't real.
That's true.
King Frost Hero, my son has been very unfunny with this car, he-ho. So as punishment, he's reading all tomorrow's ho.
Oh, okay.
Hey, do you know where the Supreme Court justices sleep at night? Just asking for a friend. Just asking for a friend.
Who is that?
That's Trevor Moore.
That's that's Trevor Moore from Wise Kids You Know. That's that is a direct quote from him, and nothing anyone else has said ever. It's only a quote from Trevor Moore, the man who is deceased. You cannot assign this quote to anyone on this podcast or who gives us money. It's only a quote and nothing else.
I would never talk about the Supreme Court. I read Goosebumps.
A Podlord with a normal hitbox.
What a deranged game.
Dark Souls 2 grab.
What is this?
It's Melty Blood, I think.
Yeah, I think it's melting blood.
Of course.
The French bread special.
Virvarm. Brain fried from work. No funny today.
Fair.
I don't know. This was kind of funny.
8th generation heroes. See, it doesn't have the same ring, so. Featuring the ghost of 7th Genman. I can see you're no greenhorn when it comes to pre-21st century b-ball vernacular and colloquialisms.
True.
Arc Seaside has as Radvinat. Henceforth, he shall shred.
Hell yeah, let's go. I'm glad Tom Barry's there too.
Yep. The Super Mim. Lane's World 25. Why, with the right breeding and training, I could defeat the Elite Four with one Rattata. Would you believe it? One. Sarlene. What? This is like some last minute shit. What the fuck is this, Podlord? Podlord, we even started late today.
Yeah, we did. Like, come on. It's like 9 o'clock.
A Camellia skating around.
Rad.
Okay, worth it.
Take the money, Dan. Is that it? Oh, that's it. And thank you very much to our Podlord.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you.
Thank you, Podlord.
Thank you, Podlord.
Yeah.
And if you'd like to become a Podlord, you can go to our Patreon at patreon.com/gbpodcast. For as little as $5 a month, you get access to many benefits such as early access to Chugging Bleach, our anime review podcast where we review all of Bleach. We just finished the Bound arc, the only human beings in history to have ever watched the entire Bound arc and then discussed it at length. The untold psychological damage will haunt us for the rest of our lives. Extended armchair dev pitches and game premonitions when the format of those shows forces us to leave ideas on the floor for dogs to eat. And a patron exclusive show, one per month, where you get to vote on what good or bad thing we have to watch and then talk about. That's patreon.com/GB podcast. And if you don't have any money, it helps us immeasurably if you spread the word, tell your friends and whatnot. And if you don't have any friends or money, you can build a time machine so you can go back into the past and change the past so you have money and friends. But then a child will show up and tell you that you can't actually change the past. And he won't elaborate on it in any way about why you can't actually change the past. He'll just say it like he knows it. And then you will go back and seemingly achieve your goal, but then it won't work and nothing will elaborate it ever. That's patreon.com/GV podcast.
Untold psychological damage, like me at a Wendy's, and when they fuck up my order in 2 different ways, I go, wow, this person's a regular Jinkaria.
Oh, we have a different plan for your baked potatoes.
Oh. I didn't realize these bullets in here were just an image. I was freaking out. I was like, why do these bullets look so weird in Feels News?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I didn't want to type them out, so I just...
No, that's totally fucking fair. I just spent a while going, how did he even make it look like this? And it wasn't until I clicked it, and I'm like,
the subject.
This is a fucking image. I'll get my news out of the way really fast. As expected, as prophesied last year or super early this year, DigiTimes confirmed TSMC, which is Taiwan Semiconductor, is going to be producing the new smaller PS5 between second and third quarter this year. That's when they'll start producing those. It's going to be smaller fab size for the chips, which in turn should make it less hot and need less electricity. So they should be able to, well, I don't know, design the PS5 to not be absolutely fucking massive.
Maybe let it sit flat or something. I don't know.
It was really good because I saw this news and I'm like, that's cool. And I saw 2 people talking about it. One was like, well, maybe finally they could produce enough for us to buy one. And the other person goes, who's we? Because they already own one. Anyway, that's the news. I'm excited about that. Weirdly enough, I'm pretty like... The PS5, like, unlike a lot of cutting-edge, actually high-performance consoles over the years, doesn't seem to have heat problems. So I don't feel the need to escape, right?
Yeah.
Which there definitely was that with every 7th-gen system other than the Wii. So I don't know. Let's do a quick poll. Bob, if they made a new revision, let's say they chop $100 off of it. Would you trade in your model PS5 and get a smaller one if it was a little bit less quirky in its design and could sit flat on a thing for $400?
That's really hard, but I probably would do it if I had the extra money. If I had any extra money at all, I'd probably just jump at it.
I guess at some point you could probably still sell your PS5 for what you paid for it, even if they dropped the price by $100.
That's true.
You would just want to secure the new one up front.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, in that case, it seems like a winning move for anyone with the PS5. I don't know. I don't hate the PS5's design. I hate that I can't even move it around slightly because that stands like, I'm going to fall off.
Yeah, it's not a good feeling. Even with the minimal amount of moving mine I do, I'm like, no, this is bad.
Yeah. I don't know. How are you two feeling on KZ? Feel?
I would just stick with mine unless there's like some benefit. Like when I put it somewhere, it's just fine. It's living. It's good.
The most I'd consider is buying one and just holding it because I'm desperately afraid of my PS5 failing.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's always a fear.
Oh yeah.
So, but if I could walk into a store and get one, then no, I'd just be like, okay, now it died. I have to go to Walmart.
That's true. Yeah. It does get weird because the chip.
But I feel like we're still a couple years off from being able to walk into a store and get one of these. Although maybe by the end of the year.
That's right, ladies and gentlemen. Feels like, and he's not wrong to feel this way, it will take 4 whole years into the gen for it to be like, I walked into a store and saw one.
Yeah, I don't want to think about the concept of me trying to go online to buy a video game machine unless it's a new Nintendo product.
Yeah, Switch 2 is going to be hard enough.
Yeah.
Like we're still in the ballpark of the PS5 being $750 to $850 scalped. So the demand is still high and the supply is still low. Not as low as people claim it is, because I think they've shipped like 30 million ish.
Yeah, they shipped as many as they did of the PS4, so it's really a demand thing. It's really funny though, Bob, because this has made something easy, okay?
What's that?
This has made one specific thing really easy to point out. Hey, Dan, when were you the most right ever?
God damn it.
When I spent 6 whole fucking months telling people, yeah, this is going to be the hardest it's ever been to get a fucking console, get your pre-orders in. If you even give a remote shit, get your pre-orders in and cancel. Even Bob was like there with me on that. And then...
Yeah, true. You had me convinced, and you were right, because I ended up on launch day with 2 PS5s because Walmart wouldn't let me quit.
And to think it was easier for you to get 2 PS5s then than it is to get a PS5 now, at least in my experience.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, I feel like...
Oh, yeah, because it just appeared.
I have stopped seeing PS5 listings frequently. It's usually some weirdo thing like, oh, Costco has it. And it's like, well, that's not even... Not everyone can even use that. You need the Costco discount program or whatever to get in there.
Yeah, I see that for stores where it's like, are you a veteran? You have access to this shopping center website?
Yeah. I've actually had numerous opportunities, but they are absolutely coming less often nowadays. 100%. That is not imagined.
It really seems like Sony is leaning more into we do it through our own thing.
Yeah, they are doing those more often.
That's the only way we can like keep scalpers from getting them.
But that's it for my news. Let's go to Bob.
Sure. You got any specific ones you want to hear about?
The top one, because what?
What?
The Toho Empires has been announced.
What?
It's an RTS, which is blatantly a ripoff of Age of Empires. And he plays Toho characters.
I need to see this.
Yeah,
I need to see this right now. Oh my god, I want to play this. Day one purchase.
No problem. We will have the idiot empire.
It's made by Netpia. Or Neatpia, I'm not sure. Who previously made Gensoku Defenders, which is a Toho tower defense game. So this is obviously the next step up from that.
Dude, this rules. I'm looking at this trailer.
But yeah, it's coming to Steam.
That's great. We should check this out.
Hold on, let me go look at it.
Bob, how sad is it that I constantly sit here and go, the games I'm most interested in covering early are like absolute like tiny bottom tier publisher Dojin stuff.
Yeah, no, there was another Toho game that came out last week. I almost bought and talked about this week. But I was like, I just did that with another game that didn't end up very great. Maybe I don't for 2 weeks in a row.
I
can't believe this exists. I'm dying.
This rules. This is absolutely great. I'm so glad they're doing this. Thank you for bringing this news in, Bob.
No problem. I got another weird game that no one's ever heard of.
Okay,
here.
go.
Off the Grid.
Okay, that sounds like a couple games that have shipped.
Get this. It's a AAA third-person shooter battle royale narrative game.
What?
Ooh!
AAA third-person shooter battle royale with narrative progression.
Yeah, it's made with, let's see, the Chief Visionary Officer Neil Blomkamp of District 9 and Elysium fame.
What?
Okay, I tried. What?
I'm glad I
safe.
No, you're not safe.
One mode, I didn't hear it. Let me just do it now. Half in the back.
Fuck movies.
It's coming to PS5 Series systems or Xbox Series systems PC in 2023. What the fuck? They're calling it Battle Royale 2.0.
What?
See, it's going to have 150 players fighting online in PvP, but there's also PvE story missions, and they're very unclear as if they're happening at the same time or in separate areas. They make it sound like it's all one big map, you're just doing both on at the same time.
Now, see, this is really confusing, Bob. Because here it says they have 150 people fighting.
Yeah, 150.
And in Halo, they said Battle Royale's 12 people.
Oh my god, no.
How did we get these two extremes right on top of each other? This is insane. What do you...
Yeah, it's super confusing and sounds like it's just a bunch of ideas shoved out there. I have no idea what is going to come out of this. Like, be excited. Go sign up for the newsletter on playoffthegrid.com.
Man, this website doesn't really have a whole lot.
No, it really doesn't.
At least there's a teaser, but it's completely pre-rendered.
Yeah, it's completely pre-rendered. It's just some bald dude walking up, and he has a blade arm.
Let me put it this way, guys. He's in tactical gear. So, imagine Snake from Metal Gear Solid 4 with, ammo packs and things on the front and back. But it's just unimpressive looking black camo sort of gear. And he has an arm blade and a gun. And then he looks at a city and there are bullets and he runs at it and they end it.
Have you seen the movie Elysium? It looks like that guy. His gear, not the dude himself, but just the same. Like, I'm a white dude with some really basic looking gear.
Once again, I thought I was safe here. Like, we cover fucking video games. I'm like, no one's gonna ever ask us to cover like Neil Blomkamp stuff on fucking GigaBoots podcast network. I'm safe. Damn it.
Yeah, and he hasn't done a movie since Chappie, which is years ago now, so nobody can ask us.
Yeah. I know, it felt really safe.
Mm-hmm.
No one was like, go back and watch. This Flintstones podcast are great, but if you could watch Chappie.
The last piece of news I got, they announced the date for the Summer Game Fest 2022 showcase. This is the big Jeff Keighley show.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be June 9th, 11 a.m. Pacific time, 2 p.m. at Eastern time.
Thank you for not putting it on my girlfriend's birthday.
Cool.
By the way, fuck Microsoft for putting it on my girlfriend's birthday.
Yeah, I knew it. I was like, I don't know. We're all right around that area. That had to happen.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Every day we're on the shore. Every year we're on the shore. It's the end of X-Men First Class. The boats are all firing.
It's going to be on YouTube, Twitch, Twitter, Facebook, and also shown in IMAX theaters live.
Yep.
Okay, sure.
And it's going to immediately afterwards go into Days of the Devs, which is made by Double Fine.
Yeah.
And I Am 8-Bit. It's their like indie game showcase.
See, it's like Day of the Dead.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's bad. It's always bad. It's always like the worst indie show of the year, which is sad. I hope that this is better because it's leading directly in from Jeff Keighley's show itself instead of being on a separate day or anything. It's all just right there.
I don't know. I think once the real show ends, it's just like, then let's join us now as we go to the dumpster.
Yeah, I bet Jeff Keighley will swoop up every good-looking indie game and put it in his show, and then there's just going to be the refuse left for this.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm proud to show you all for the second time Toho Empire.
Yes.
Let's go, baby.
As you can see, I have been made into a Toho and am in the game.
And they're also going to be showing the Game Awards in the IMAX theaters.
Cool.
So there's that.
That's great. You get that experience.
Yeah, I remember watching reaction videos years ago of here's Sony's E3 at a theater.
That seemed like a really cool idea. Like, if you get a good quality broadcast, I don't know what quality they're spitting out.
Right.
Yeah.
I assume it's decent. I wouldn't want that thing to look like a bad YouTube video.
Right. And I'm not even sure if theater projectors can go at 60 frames per second. I'm not sure if they work like that.
Oh, that's a really good point. I have no idea. Huh. I mean, they're digital, you would think.
You'd think. But I don't know.
Huh. Yeah, I never once thought of that. Please look forward to the future of GigaBoots live streaming the Game Awards from fucking a theater we rented out.
Jesus.
Dude, that's so good. I'm bringing hot dogs.
But that's all the news I got.
Great. Let's move over to KZ. Hey, KZ.
All right, first up, in terms of games that are doomed and have been doomed for a while, Prince of Persia: Sands of Time remake is switching developers to Ubisoft Montreal. It was formerly being made by Ubisoft Mumbai and Pune. I don't know how to pronounce that one.
I would either assume it's Pune or Pune, but I'm gonna look it up. It's in India.
It seems to be Pune.
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 Yeah.
Okay. Well, yeah. They switched over to Ubisoft Montreal for this. And they said they still don't have a release date. Reminder, this game was originally announced in September of 2020 with a release date 4 months later of January 2021. But everyone said that game looked like shit, so they delayed it 18 times. This is... How do you fumble the bag on something this basic?
Maybe Ubisoft Montreal can actually turn this into a remake anyone wants to play.
I have no doubt that they can. Because they've done anything.
Won't be until 2024.
Which is fine. There's no rush on remaking Prince of Persia again.
I mean, there might be a rush on shipping something when Ubisoft is your publisher.
I have no idea why you'd say that, Phil.
That's fine. They get to talk about... So we have a bunch of projects that are nowhere near done in this remake of this one game. Anyways, will you buy us, Sony? Sony's like, no.
The Prince of Persia IP isn't that valuable.
They're getting bought by some fucking publisher, or not publisher, by some equity firm that has a name like Deathstone, and then we're never going to hear from them ever again.
Yes.
Do you know how much I'm like, I don't want to see even companies I'm not particularly fond of most of their games. I don't want to see them go. But if it's from something called Deathstone, I will 100% help that.
It's really weird that Ubisoft opened their E3 conference by literally mulching Yves Guillemot on stage.
It's really fucked up how now the company that owns them also makes drones.
Man, their new Ghost Recon game's a little weird.
It's very realistic.
It's very realistic.
Wow. It has such a budget. It's almost like the State Department likes it.
I feel like I'm using real camera feeds on a lot of this. It's so realistic.
Oh no!
Yeah, this seems to be one of those streaming games because sometimes I see some macro blocking that seems a little weird for a video game.
This is weird. Why are all the missions blowing up weddings?
Oh! KZ, do you have any other news?
Yes, I do have one more piece of news. Gaming industry Thanos, Embracer Group, has bought some stuff from Square, according to my list here, their entire Western division for $300 million.
Good. This is unambiguously positive for everyone involved.
So makes Square look like absolute clowns for not being able to do anything with this.
Yeah, of course, it is.
Sir, it's not for a lack of trying. They gave them so much fucking money. They were dumping first-party Sony money into these games. And it's just like, yeah, we made a bunch of 7s.
Yeah, it's weird because, like, they did 3 fucking Tomb Raider games in a row that are the same fucking, she's gonna become the Tomb Raider. And then they did 1.5 Deus Ex.
And then they made a couple bad Marvel games.
Yeah, on stream, I kind of just, off the top of my head, detailed every single problem a Western-developed Square game went, where it's like, oh man, they made one good Tomb Raider, so they allowed Microsoft to pay them to kneecap their own franchise through exclusivity.
Except that game didn't make money. None of them made money. Like, I went and I to make sure I wasn't crazy, I went and checked the price history on every platform of every Tomb Raider game.
Okay.
Those things went down to under $20 almost instantly, all 3. And they very often went down below 5.
Yeah, I know. I bought the first Tomb Raider super value only a few weeks after launch.
It's funny because that first Tomb Raider.
So when they're like, it sold 10 million copies, and I'm like, yeah, most of them were for $5.
It's funny because that first Tomb Raider game's literally on every streaming platform I've tried.
Yes.
Yeah, they gotta ring the fucking mop.
Yeah, it felt like they needed some sort of management and vision for those things. And they never got it.
Yeah.
And then, like KZ was saying, they kneecapped it with the second game because they put it on Xbox, a place where no one cared. It was Tomb Raider. Everyone had a PlayStation who cared about that.
A lot, yeah.
I don't think that actually affected the sales, though. I think that one sold fine, and then the third one also sold fine.
Oh, I think that absolutely affected the sales because by the time it came to PlayStation, people already knew it sucked. They absolutely would have jumped on that sword had they not known.
Yeah.
Yes.
Because it was like a whole year.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was an entire year. The idea that they not only took that, but then decided, we're just going to launch it on top of Fallout 4.
I have to wonder if it...
it sold 12 million copies, though, so...
I'm trying to remember when Uncharted 4 came out, because I feel like that delay might have pushed it after that.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's what happened, but let me look it up.
Yeah, it would have happened because it was
Uncharted 4 was 2016. Rise of the Tomb Raider was
2015.
2015.
Oh wait, 2015 on Xbox.
PS4.
Oh,
and then,
oh no.
Yeah, it's like.
But like the problem with these was always that nobody gave a fuck. Nobody's ever given a fuck. That's why they would only buy them for super budget prices. And I don't even know why they went that low, because that isn't like a Square Enix thing. Like they're actually very the opposite. Like Nier Automata was like $40 until like 2020.
Oh, that's a very Square Enix with Western Studios thing.
Yeah, they've done nothing but prove they have no idea how to manage them.
Yeah, so at least
good.
they're
So
getting
good. Get rid
wrestled
of
free
them.
from that. Yeah, looking this up, Uncharted 4 came out in May of 2016. So they delayed Tomb Raider to come out like 5 months after Uncharted 4, which
it's not a good case. And you like look at some of their other stuff where it's like the second Deus Ex game was supposed to be much bigger, but they just chopped it at the knees to try and do a trilogy, and then just never did the third one.
And then Legacy of Kain just gets the shortest end of the stick, where they're like, we did a beta for multiplayer.
The Hitman one is so embarrassing, where they're like, we're gonna bring things back to what people liked about Hitman and try and make this like really cool formula where you're repeating it a bunch instead of that set PC Absolution one. Square's like, okay, let's do it episodically.
Yeah.
And then they abandoned them, and then fucking that studio went back and made 2 more and just continued to
and killed it. It's so
like, come on.
Like and they did Sleeping Dogs, and then we're like, this was really successful. Let's kill it and make this insane online MMO thing nobody under the sun wants. This is so much better.
And then
it's not better for Tomb Raider fans, because you're never getting a game as expensive as those 3 Tomb Raider games ever again, bro. I'm sorry.
Don't worry, the Tomb Raider fans didn't even like those.
there are.
I would go as far to say as there's no such thing as a real Tomb Raider fan.
I think you end up in a weird group where the old school Tomb Raider fans were maybe not the fan of the newest ones, and then there are people who casually care about the new ones.
Right.
I don't know if anyone who's like, oh, that's my favorite game.
Yeah. That seems impossible.
But yeah, I don't know. I think there's a real opportunity now that Embracer Group owns them that, they'll get funding in some sort of vision and scope and structure to ship a fucking Tomb Raider game that is the same one they did 3 times in a row.
Yeah. They need some direction that is not that.
I feel like the reason those Tomb Raider games ended up that way is because nobody wanted to make them, and Square Enix was like, this is the biggest IP you have. Make it Uncharted.
Hey, guess what? That's the story of Tomb Raider.
And then that happened 3 times.
That's the story of Tomb Raider the entire fucking time outside of the first 2.
This is good because, Embracer Group probably put, Unreal Engine 4 remakes of Gex 2 and 3 into production yesterday. We're almost, the chance of getting a Legacy of Kain game is now 10 million times more likely.
Yeah, thank Christ.
Yeah, even if it's just bringing back the old ones.
Right. I feel like they're the most prone to, that fits their brand more than anything else in this whole transaction.
Yeah,
I was honestly joking, why ever make a Darksiders game again? You have Legacy of Kain.
Meanwhile, I'm like, cross them over.
Yes, that works too.
Yeah, immediately when this happened, I'm like, if there's any company that's going to take IPs and corporations don't care about anymore, it's THQ Nordic, where it's just like, we can sell this for $40 and make some bank.
Yeah, if it turns out people with vision realize there's more than just the $60 and $70 part of the market.
Yeah, it feels like they're the only ones.
Yeah.
And they own so many Eurojank RPG studios, Deus Ex can come back with one of them. It can have 1 million systems that are insane, and the people who like Deus Ex will clap so hard their hands become stubs.
It would be funny. Deus Ex is probably the only game franchise where you could be like, we are developing a game. When's it shipping? When it's done. And you get to spend the next 8 years making it. and the whole way, people get happier and happier that you're spending this long. Because it's just like, oh, thank God it's the opposite of last time.
Yeah.
They'll be like, oh, they showed a Deus Ex trailer. That jump looks fucked up and like it feels bad. This game's going to be a 10.
Yes. Fucking finally. So long as they don't do what I think it was Human Revolution did, where there's so many forced hacking mini games in that shit that someone's like, I think 5 hours of my gameplay is just this, like it's Pipe Dream and Bioshock.
Yeah, it's like our playthrough of Bioshock, where every time I'm like, Bob, no, stop.
I wish this had come up with like a list of IPs that Embracer bought.
Yeah, it came out as just like they now have access to Tomb Raider, Deus Ex, Gex, Legacy of Kain, and a bunch of back catalog games that Square's made.
I'll bet
for
that
the Western studios.
I bet if we look at that list that they put up for, hey, you can make these indie games with us. You can pitch an indie game to us. If you look at that,
let me look that up real quick.
Yeah, absolutely. It's got to be all of those, which is just embarrassing. And honestly, I wish Square somehow sold them Taito too.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
It would be great if Taito was doing more, and it'd be great if Konami just sold them Hudson Soft. We get a fucking Bonk game in 2022.
Jesus.
Let's go.
But yeah, like not only is this okay, now these IPs are used, now Square Enix won't be throwing $150 million into these games that nobody is going to really care about at all.
It just seems bizarre to me, because Tomb Raider is one of the most like iconic gaming IPs, and I'll agree Deus Ex, not that. Gex, definitely not that. Legacy of Kain, not that. But each of these has a really strong appeal where you can't convince me that you can't make money with these. You just have to have
I agree, but
vision.
You can't make money with an IP if you're not going to ever make a game in that IP.
Exactly.
Like, they obviously don't want to have a Western studio anymore, and they're obviously not going to, and nor would I want them to devote their own internal resources to make, like, even if I'm not a Legacy of Kain fan because I haven't played those games, but even if I was, I wouldn't want Square Enix internally to make one.
Yeah, no, that would be fucking awful.
That would be bizarre. That would be at best bizarre.
It would end up, weirdly enough, just coming out like Stranger of Paradise, like the art style, and you'd be like, this isn't Legacy of Kain.
Yeah, so there's this element of that, and then it's like, and now they're at like the people who mine out every single IP and do something with them.
Yeah. And I think a Gex remake would be cool. They do the Bikini Bottom thing with it.
Yeah. It seems like fairly easy to just.
Was Embracer Group involved in those fucking horrible Bubsy revivals?
I don't think they were.
One of their mini tendrils.
I don't think they were.
That feels like something that they would do, doesn't it? But who knows?
Let's see. No, they're owned by the company that made them is owned by THQ Nordic.
They're everywhere. All right.
So
wait a second.
Yes. So
they own Duke Nukem creator 3D Realms. We could just get a Deus Ex made by that.
Jesus.
I mean, I would rather the creators of Duke Nukem, who kind of aren't right now. I think the current version of 3D Realms is some Eurojank studio who own the name now.
Okay.
Oh my God.
But they can make Duke Nukem because now they own Gearbox, who owns Duke Nukem.
Oh.
And you know who can make Deus Ex? Piranha Bytes.
Okay.
Yeah, I feel like this is
or they can buy Spiders. I don't even know if Spiders might already be owned by them. I'm not actually sure. That seems like the kind of company that would be owned by them.
It sure does.
No, they're owned by Nakon, who will be bought by THQ Nordic within the next year.
God, they will consume all.
So in the deal, there is 3 other IPs that are listed that they still own, which are Just Cause, Life is Strange, and Outriders.
Now, 2 of those are successful and make money. Outriders is it's been not enough time, so you'd feel bad. Like Life is Strange has been really successful for Square Enix. Like fucking Zoomers love that game. And Just Cause seems to sell a lot at a reasonable price.
Yeah, and I guess they never owned the studios that made Just Cause, like Avalanche.
Yeah, Avalanche. That's Avalanche. In fact, same for Life is Strange.
Life is Strange is really funny, where it's like the original devs aren't even involved anymore, and it's like they got a new fucking studio to make a prequel and 3 looks visually way better.
Yeah.
I I will say one positive that could immediately be gleaned. I'm like, one, this leads to one thing. They're never going to do like a Square Enix only show ever again. But if they ever did, boy, did they cut out so much filler.
I bet they'll still do some.
I'm trying.
I feel for free marketing.
I feel like they can just bring things they like to other people now.
I feel like I'm trying to think of the filler.
Western games.
Well, yeah, but specifically.
Yeah,
like I'm trying to think of like, because the
Guardians of the Galaxy was filler last year. They gave us like a 15-minute segment.
Yeah,
sure did.
The problem wasn't the game though. The problem was how long they stayed on it.
But and then they did it again. Was it the Sony show or the Square Enix show where it's like, here's our 20-minute long look at Avengers with the voice actors coming out to talk about it.
That wasn't anyone's main show, but that may have been a Square show.
It wasn't.
Yeah,
I think
Square.
it was at Square's. It was Square's like
I think
on stage
yeah.
show. They had them like come out and sit on couches.
Sorry, I thought the sentence you just said implied it was one of the other guys' main show. But yes, Square totally rolled out the Marvel thing.
Yeah, I couldn't remember whether or not it's Square Enix's E3 show or if like for some reason they had roped Sony into doing that.
It would be really great. I don't know, guys. Then the next Square Enix thing, they get to, I don't know, present Perfect Dark. God, that's the most fucked up end. And like, because we spent years being like, they obviously have no idea what to do with their Western studios. They obviously have no idea what to do with it. And then it's like, yeah, Square dropped them off at Microsoft's house and just won't take them back. It's like, okay,
that is like really.
That's the nail
really
in the
funny.
coffin of they just don't know or care,
right? And the funny thing is they did renounce it. They will in fact continue to work on that, even though they're owned by Embracer Group.
Sure.
I mean, Microsoft's money spends the same as anybody else's.
Yeah, I was thinking about how complicated this deal might be because I was seeing places say that Embracer Group like retains their current the Western's currently released games like the Marvel stuff, and if Marvel just says no to this thing, that they might get delisted entirely. Which I'm like, Jesus.
Oh no.
Okay,
they'll lose the 10 players.
Bob, if it gets delisted, we have to give it a chance.
I know.
Yeah, that is a no.
Yeah, but I mean other stuff like Guardians of the Galaxy that's like well liked, and they slaved like half a decade to make that goddamn game.
Well, at least that's not a service game.
Like that doesn't a service game. There are physical discs of those that they're out.
That helps.
Yeah, that helps.
That helps.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah. I'm just not gonna.
Okay.
I'm not gonna be cool with when things get delisted off of like.
So Fear Effect has to be one of those things,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and I don't even fucking know. Like it could be anything. They said 50.
I mean, they have a ton of IPs.
Yeah.
They have an absurd amount.
There's also the part of this story where they Square told us what they were going to do with that money that they got.
They're gonna put it into the
hell yeah,
blockchain.
let's go, baby.
Yeah.
And cloud gaming and AI and let's say okay gamer premonition in 1 year from today will they have launched anything related to any of these? I say no. KZ,
No.
Dan,
Launched.
Hell no.
I'm counting launched as we have announced our new subdivision that has this person in charge of it.
No, that's not
It has to
launching.
Yeah, I was like,
That is announcing a division. They haven't launched a product. They haven't launched a thing with that technology. That's not a launch.
Launch is I can go on a website and try and do a thing that may involve me paying something or engaging with
Right. If they sit there and tell me Final Fantasy VII Remake Part 2 has AI, thanks to our investment in AI, I will go, okay, that counts. But if it's just like, we're working on blockchain stuff, is a PR statement that comes out in November, fuck no, that doesn't count. I'm going to say no,
It's like-
nothing. Mm-mm.
Yeah, it's a thing where it's like, we're working on a thing so the investors stop asking us about it, but we will do nothing with.
I noticed
That does seem how it's going to be gonna go. I think Japan is on like a 4-month delay compared to the West with stuff like this.
Yeah.
So every Western studio is like, everybody screams at us every time we mention it, and money laundering laws have now made them fall through the floor. So I guess we're ripping that shit out. So I bet in 4 months, no Japanese company will ever mention this shit again, except Konami.
Yeah, I was gonna say, like, I think they're gonna keep mulching money on it, though. I think that will happen for at least another year until maybe the investors finally drop it.
I don't think they've mulched any money though. I think it's just like, have you ever had a boss at work who's like, "Hey, do this," and you're like, "That doesn't need to be done, and I don't want to, and you're never going to check on me ever again. So I'm just going to say yes, I'll do that, and then I won't."
I'm trying to remember when Square announced their 2012 is when they announced their fucking cloud gaming service or whatever.
Yeah, they shut it down already.
Yeah. So it's been 10 fucking years of we're gonna do it. It's gonna happen.
Right.
Well, they started it, then they put Yoichi Wada, the most cursed man to have ever lived, in charge of it. Then they shut it down and were like, we lost $20 million on it.
Yeah, that's the thing.
Which is probably how this is going to go. In 2024, we'll hear, we started all that shit and lost it and lost $50 million.
Right, exactly. They still have to hire people to sit in that room and get paid for like half a year.
Here's a thing we can make with lead paint. We can't ship a product with lead paint. Oh.
Yes.
At least AI has any potential of based on what kind of AI it is, of being useful for anything ever.
AI is the most vague shit in the world. It's like an NES game has AI. Do you mean machine learning? Like, what do you mean AI, motherfucker?
It does seem like a bullet point they put up there without having to back it up at all.
That is literally one very thin layer removed from, we are investing in programming.
Yeah, that it's investor speak, which has to by design be meaningless. Because if you get even one step more specific than that, investors get scared and run away and won't give you money. You have to say, we're investing in technology. You will have a 10,000% return on your investment at some point within the life of our star. Give me $50 million.
Oh, man.
By the way, Jeff Bezos and Elon Musk, 10,000% return on your GigaBoots podcasting network investment sometime before the end of the life of the star. Just send that $50 million to our Patreon, and we'll get right on making you money.
Oh yeah, for sure. We can start a Tesla product podcast. That would be nothing. That would be so easy compared to what we do.
Yeah.
I've been very critical of you, Mr. Musk, for $50 million. I will have a very public change of heart. Your words moved me into a bigger house.
Weird. From that day forth, Phil only ever spoke in the movie suit voice.
Casey died of a heart attack.
We now move to Phil for news.
Okay, I have one item, and it's a nightmare. Let's get through it. The city of New York is suing Activision. The reason they are suing them is because various New York City public pensions own stock in Activision. That's very common. Basically, they say Activision's actions hurt the value of their investment, specifically Kotick's actions. 100% true. Pretty much undeniable.
Right.
They want a bunch of documents that hopefully Activision hasn't destroyed. They say the Microsoft deal, which is still pending regulator approval, allows Kotick to escape with a golden parachute, and his directors just to escape while just damaging the company and escaping with a payday. So they don't want that to happen.
Literally the entire goal. Yes.
Yeah. Right. It's like you can't just say what they're doing.
It also says that Microsoft's $95 a share offer undervalues the company because that's how much it was worth before this shit started coming out.
Yeah. Yeah. Once again, this is an escape
and normally it would be higher. And here for fun is a list of every single thing currently going on at Activision right now.
Ooh, fun.
One federal harassment suit. It has been settled, though it is facing appeals. One discrimination suit from the state of California. One in development class action lawsuit. 4 shareholder lawsuits, which have been consolidated down to 2. 8 lawsuits over the Microsoft merger. 4 of them have been voluntarily dismissed. 2 220 220 complaints, which is the type of lawsuit that is going on right now, plus an SEC investigation and insider trading inquiries from the SEC and the Department of Justice. At what point does Microsoft back out? Not only just because of PR, but it's like, if you crash, we can renegotiate to be it even lower.
I mean, that's true. When they're literally splattered on the floor.
Like, dude, hey, you missed the ball a few times in the past on tech companies. You remember Yahoo? This could be Yahoo. Just tell them no, and then 10 years from now, pick them up for a fifth of the price.
It wouldn't even be 10 years. It'd be like 3.
Yeah, this is
just come back in 2025 and be like, hey, nice company, $20 billion. By the way, I feel like I talked about this when this was first announced, but I researched it again just to make sure I was right. Activision's profits per year is $2 to $2.5 billion a year. That means if Microsoft actually successfully buys them for this amount, assuming they don't somehow massively increase their profitability, which they probably will a little bit by massively cutting people who work for that company. 30 years to recoup?
Yeah, we talked about that, and that's assuming the same level of ludicrous profits for 30 years.
Like obviously they're going to fire everybody in marketing and legal and basically every single thing that Microsoft has a division for already. But that isn't going to make that big a difference.
Right.
Like the vast majority of it has to be like resources and land and warding off lawsuits.
Why would you wait a second?
What? Wait, what?
This is fantastic. I'm gonna just point out the mild divide between how we talk about the Microsoft Activision acquisition on this episode and how I've seen every gaming media outlet talk about it, where they're just like, it's gonna happen.
I hesitate to bet against it because we live in a horrible world and giant corporations usually get what you want. But this is like there's for once it seems like there's so many elements going against it. It's like they're being investigated by the actual fucking trade commission. They're being investigated for like actual crimes related to this merger.
Yeah,
right.
And plus, it's like a PR nightmare.
Yeah, when there's a new lawsuit about this every other week.
Every week, like I assume Microsoft must have at some point thought it'll die down eventually.
Yeah, of course. That's what you would expect.
Because you don't want to like Phil Spencer doesn't want to give an interview in the back half of this year and be like, so have you gotten rid of all the rapists yet?
God, I wish that anyone would actually,
Yeah, of course nobody would actually be brave enough to ask that.
They're like, but your PR statement said you did, and he's like, let me look at that. And he takes a red pen to it.
Oh no.
Rapist gone? No.
No.
No, comma, more. Yeah, the Activision shit is such a nightmare. This is like an 8-month fire.
Yeah.
I feel like it started in January. Like, not only does I feel like we've been on fire longer than 8 months. I think on the very first episode of Big Think Dimension, episode number 1, we go, soldiers. What is his number?
76.
Soldier 76 is now gay. Parentheses. Blizzard is now in trouble for sexual predation.
Yeah.
That was the very first episode.
Oh yeah, that is the first episode. Our first bullet is Soldier 76 is gay now, I guess.
I would like to point out, as I was looking at our news document earlier, thinking about what we do, I have to feel deep frustration and envy at our forebears. They cover the gaming news. They get to talk about all sorts of exciting new IPs and all this other shit. And the dark side of the industry is once every several years you get, what is it, EA wives? Something that tier where it's like, our husbands work too much? And I'm like, oh, that's terrible. Nowadays it's like, everyone's dying and on fire. Enjoy your 7th game in an IP.
What are you talking about, Dan? I got to bring in Off the Grid this week.
That's true. I guess I should go fuck myself, get a copy of Chappie and shove it right up my ass.
Correct.
That's the news for this episode of Big Thing Dimension. Bob and I, right before this goes up, we're going to do a stream on Friday, and then the day this goes up, we're going to be doing Pokemon Days. This is going to be great. I love Pokemon Days so much. It's the best, funnest show I've ever done. It is also a nightmare.
That's cool. You should probably catch 85 Zangoose.
Ooh. Do you think you think that's viable?
That sounds pretty
you should catch a shiny Ralts.
I gotta go.
I gotta go too. Catch a shiny Ralts.
Ooh.
KZ, what are you up to?
I don't know. Maybe this week I'll play Kirby. I don't know. I have to keep sitting. This needs to stop happening.
Like dust in the wind.
Yeah.
Feel?
Goodbye.
Oh no! Sound of a shuttle taking off.
Thank you for listening to this episode of Big Think Dimension. If you would like to support us, head on over to www.patreon.com/gbpodcast, where you can get extra podcasts and early access to our anime podcast, Chugging Bleach and Mondo Cool. Head on over there and become a $5 backer or podlord today. This month's GigaBoots videos were brought to you by the continued support of our executive producers, such as Esme, E. Lee Broyles, Star Falcon, Spaceman Spiff, Red Blaze 27, Brendan O'Sullivan, Burning Pepsi Man, Adam Admar, Cooper Tank, and Virmvarm. Thank you very much to our executive producers, and also these gamers. If you want to support GigaBoots so we can continue the content crunch, then head on over to patreon.com/GigaBoots today.